All right, everybody, welcome back to the Waiver Wire. It is July 21st, 4:40 p.m. We're going a little bit in a different direction this podcast. I'm joined with Zach, rapper out of Portland. He's making music all day. So how's it going, Zach? What's up?
It's good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And he's my roommate, too.
Yeah. Also, by the way, if you haven't followed our social medias, they're going to be right down here in the corner, right over by Zach. Give us a follow, subscribe to us on YouTube or whatever. But Zach, man, you being a musician, who do you think has the best presence in the rap game in 2019?
That's a tough one. But in terms of like chart topping and actual marketing, I would have to say Lil Nas. Lil Nas, not only did he release that track, but he also had Billy Ray Cyrus on it. He also did another one with Young Thug, and he re-released it, and it was crazy, bro. Like he hit the top charts. I think it was the most ever that a song has been at number one. And then also I'd say another presence is Lil Baby. Lil Baby been on the charts forever. And then also, I'm a little biased, but Future's always gone biased. Yeah. I think Future is a genius as well. But obviously, you're asking me, but what do you think?
Yeah, so Lil Nas X, he's on 3 songs in the top 20, so he's there musically. Also, he's like visiting schools and stuff, so he's all over social media. Yeah. And then he just went on Gordon Ramsay's show and cooked a panini with him. So he's just got he's all over the place. He's like within every market. So
he's like motivating people. Like he's not only just putting out music, but he's actually giving.
Yeah.
He has a whole
he's almost like a genius in marketing himself because he's literally all over. Any older person or middle-aged person or even younger person that watches Gordon Ramsay but doesn't listen to like hip hop or any type of rap or anything, they still see Lil Nas X on his show. So you know what I mean? Like he's just putting himself out there. But with that being said, who do you think? Oh, I think DaBaby is another one too because he's just been popping off with his music.
Yeah. He's crazy.
But who do you think is primed for the biggest break? I know we're halfway through 2019, but who do you think is primed to even break out with the remainder of the year?
Dang, that's tough. Well, okay, so a lot of people don't know these artists, but St. John is going to pop off. I mean, he just, Kanye West's old manager just signed St. John, and St. John's album I think it was in 2018, was incredible. And then A-Chow, a lot of people don't know about A-Chow. He's kind of like a Latin artist. He's going to be huge. Man, and I mean, I want to say, guys like Lil Baby and stuff like that breaking out, but I feel like they're already big.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like in terms of those two, I feel like they're gonna break out. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I guess it kind of goes to your definition of breakout because you could say like Lil Baby and stuff, but they're already kind of there.
They're already. I feel like if you're already on the charts and you already have like songs like Drake and
when you think like breakout, you think of somebody who's under the radar.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, casual
maybe I'll break out in 2019.
Yeah. But man, with that being said, you make music and stuff like that. So what started that for you? What made you want to make music? I remember working at the pool with you when you first kind of started getting into it. But
yeah, bro. I think. Okay, Tyler Hulagar, if you're out there, bro, thank you so much for motivating me.
Talk about flaming?
No, I'm just kidding. But no. Like, actually, bro, that's for real, though. Like, Connor Hulagar, Tyler Hulagar, homies, I didn't even really want to make music. Like, I never thought about it. And then Tyler Hulagar showed me a track one time, and I was like, yo, this is tight as hell. Mm-hmm. And then I started making music, bought my own equipment. I didn't really start taking it seriously till college, though. I started hanging out with a bunch of Hawaiian dudes and a bunch of dudes from, like, L.A. Mm-hmm. And then we just cohesively got together, and I was like, I don't know, I just popped off for me. I'm not like a producer or anything, but definitely vocalist, lyricist. I'm into all that. But on the top of that, I'm guessing like influences for me, like in terms of artists, it's gonna sound weird, but I grew up in like rock, so like Pearl Jam, Ozzy Osbourne, Godsmack. I don't even know if you guys know Godsmack. Tyler Johnson knows Godsmack out there.
Yeah.
But then there's also my mother's side, which was like Tracy Chapman. And then we got all kinds of female R&B singers that grew up with like soul R&B. So you like combine those, and then I always thought I was badass when I was growing up listening to T.I., Tech Nine, Waka Flocka Flame.
Yes, you got
those
a lot of
cats. Yeah, all that cat, and then I brought it into my music and stuff like that.
I almost feel like there was a whole movement of music, and speaking of, Class 9 being a small town, but there was like a big push in music for people like, I remember Tyler Hulagar rapping, I remember Cade kind of getting on the mic a little bit, and there was some people out there.
Mitch Ryan?
Yeah, there was some people putting out music, and it was like, all right, cool, it was kind of interesting, and now, you've probably pushed that envelope the furthest out of anybody there. So, like, damn. Whose style do you most resemble, do you think?
Man, that's so hard. I feel like if I was, it's hard to categorize myself. Like I really take, and I didn't even say this, but I do take a lot of influence from Kid Cudi. I definitely like that style of waviness, and then obviously, to be relevant in the game, you have to have styles that other people in the game are using. So like obviously, Travis Scott's style was something that Kid Cudi I felt like enveloped in Kanye West. Added that in with my rock sound and kind of like I don't want to give away what I'm making now comparison to what I was making before, but I'm kind of stepping away from the trap and more so into like a little more rhythmic music. And with that, that goes back to more of the R&B roots. So
Why would you want to leave trap music?
I felt like I was doing it because I don't know. I just wanted to give it a try. I thought it was tight, but like the thing is, I don't feel like it's me 100%. You know what I mean? Like I feel like me is like when I listen to some good rock or like good R&B. Shit, that gets me juiced up. That gets me fired up. And like when I make that music, when I write that music, I'm at my best.
Yeah.
When I make like trap, it's like I had like a bunch of homies who's like, yeah, you want to get on track, and it's like I make some trap stuff, and then I started implementing into my sound. It's not a bad thing. It's great to work with other sounds, but if you want to define yourself and you want to be the best, you have to create your own sound within the market.
Yeah. So with that being said, who do you think has made their own sound? We've talked about it before. Just artists that are like super unique and have like
I mean
their own like literally their own sound.
Travis Scott, 100% has his own sound. I think Future made a whole wave of sound.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Kid Cudi, Kanye West, and that's in terms of the hip hop. Okay.
I think Tech Nine is one that comes to mind for
Tech
me,
Nine,
where it was
Tech
like
Nine,
his own.
yeah.
Like when you heard Tech Nine, it was just like, you hear some artists and you think like, oh, this guy's good. He sounds like this guy too. But I like all these artists, so it's fine. They all sound similar.
Mm-hmm.
But people like Tech Nine for me were like just so much. And Travis Scott too. I feel like when Travis Scott's on a song, it's like nobody could ever take his place because no one's like Travis Scott.
Thugger too, Young Thug.
Yeah,
it's like the same thing. You know what? I know, no offense, but I don't really listen to Young Thug that much. But when I hear him on a track, I'm like, yo, that's Thug, or that's Scott, or that's Cudi. You know what I mean? Like when you can differ, like if you can differ from artist to artist, you're good. Like if you can be on a track and nobody's like, and people actually say like, yo, who is this cat? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know who you are, like you good because you distinguish your own sound.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just listen. They're not like hearing, they listen but they're not hearing.
That's another breakout that reminded me of is like Gunna.
Yeah.
It's another one who like he got on the track with Young Thug and it's just like, damn, this guy's awesome.
You don't hear, and you know what's crazy is like I've been listening to Gunna beats a lot, and it's a lot of like guitar. It's like you know what I mean, like that guitar, and it's almost like a Latin guitar, but he's rapping over it, and it was like, yo, that's tight as hell. And then Future, I think, saw that talent too, and it actually I think influenced Future to take his sound to another direction too. So yeah.
What inspires you when you're writing music? How do you prepare yourself to write a song?
Dude, that's such a loaded question because like. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'll make a song without writing. Like I'll just make it on the spot, or I'll listen to the beat first, and write it. But honestly, my most successful songs I've ever made is like writing on the spot, because I feel like I get more emotion. But other people can do that, and other people can't. It depends on your style. I love doing that style, but it also sometimes takes away from the lyricism. You feel me? Because you're just making upon emotion. And I think people that actually write it out, I think they do get more of like a, I don't know. I don't want to say like a presence, but you can put more time into the lyrics and content and stuff like that. And I'm starting to do that more myself as an artist. But when I first started, I would just make everything on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
I used to make beats too. And when I make beats, I didn't release any of my beats to the public or nothing. But when I'd make beats, it was like, I'd make like these jazzy beats, sound like you're going down like an elevator, and then I'd start rapping on those beats. And I was like, yo, this is tight too. So it's like, for me, it's like, it's more of like the moment. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And the inspiration in the moment. And honestly, the best songs I've ever written in my life is like when I'm depressed, or when I'm getting out of the gym, or like I'm mad. You feel me? I always write when I'm emotional, or like when I feel something. Feel me?
Right, yeah. So for you, is music always something that's in your mind, or do you think it's important to like step away for a week or so and then come back to it, and maybe that, because I feel like as an artist that might be important to be like, I'm gonna step away from this for a week, recharge and then hit it hard the next month, or are you the type of person where it's like always on your mind and you're just like you're going after it?
I think if it's always on my mind, I become obsessed, and I think obsession is a bad addiction, And I think that like for me, learning as I've gotten older, it's yeah, like if I start working on an album, I become obsessed. So it's like for me, I have to take a step away for a while and then come back. Like right now, I'm working on an EP, and I just keep up to telling myself like, you know, what is perfection? You know, like that's I think the artist's problem is we always strive for perfection. Like when we listen to a song, we're like, nah, it's not perfect, trash it.
Yeah, yeah.
But to the public, it could be the greatest song of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, it is good to step away and not listen to your own stuff and go do things, get experiences, and bring them back to the song.
Right. Yeah. Is there any artists like stories or any artist come ups that make you feel like this is a real thing for me? You know what I mean? Is there any artists like that are like, oh, like they made this one song, they blew up in a day, all of a sudden they're this famous rapper? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there stories in your head that you're like, I can do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's you know, actually that you just said that, I was gonna pull them up. The what's his face? Hold on, I got it right here, man. Yeah, Mike Posner. I was just talking about Mike Posner. It's crazy because I never listened to Mike Posner until Cooler Than Me, like except for Cooler Than Me, because that was like the
that song was a banger.
And I was
for
just
a while.
talking about this, and I was like, and then I was listening to Jay Shetty's podcast, and Mike Posner was like talking about the music industry and talking about how he like went in the forest for 20 days and like, you know, survived out there, and just talking about like living, you know, and like it gave me this like, bro, we're human beings. We're not machines. You know, we're not music making machines. Right. You feel me? And there's people out there that can do that. And I felt like for me, if I get in that mode, I'll go. But at some point, you just become robotic with the sound.
I think that's like, so there's like no, like to my prior question, I don't think there's a right or wrong. Like you can either make music 24/7 all day, and that's great. That's your style. Or you could step away for a week, 2 weeks, you know, make music for 3 days, step away for a month or whatever. Like whatever works best for you, I think you should do. And that might be Mike Posner's style of that, is like, look, I got to step away from music for a minute, recollect my thoughts, get re-inspired, dial it in, and I'm going to come back and fucking drill it.
Yeah, he steps away. He said he steps away for like a year.
Yeah.
And then he comes back to make it. And I'm like, damn, that's actually a really cool concept. Not all of us have the luxury of, you know, stepping away for a year and coming back. But for like me, I got to keep putting out content. And another thing I'll say is ever since I took control of the mixing, ever since I've been kind of doing that myself.
Which was like a super recent change.
Super recent. Ever since I started doing that, bro, it like opened my mind to a whole new realm of things. Made me a lot happier with my music. And it's not that engineers don't do a good job. It's that like, God, sometimes I'm selfish. You know, like I just want it a certain way, you know, and then I don't want to keep coming back to and go to the studio. I want it right there in front of me.
And to you, does that re-inspire you when you find something new in the music industry where you're like, well, this is, you know, I'm opened this one door and there's 3 more doors that I can open, and there's, you know, 9 more doors going on that door, and it's almost like I'm getting excited for this again.
Yeah, but you ever heard like the more you know, the less you know? Because it's like the more I dive into music, the less I know about music. Because it's like there's so many aspects, bro. It's not just like today I made a song, right? And sometimes I just make songs, but it's like I hit this one vocal key and I was like, whoa, what the hell? I never hit that before. Like that shit was crazy. But it just was like, boom. And then it opened my mind like, whoa, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? And then when I'm mixing music, it opens your mind to a whole new realm. So it's like more scientific, it's more logical. A part of my brain that I never really worked on. I was always left-sided, so I always worked on the creative aspect of things. Yeah. And I was an athlete too, but mostly the creative aspect. Now it's like, okay, Zach, you got to sometimes you got to get like over here, so you got to work both, you know, work both sides of the brain. And that's why I say like guys like Russ, I respect the shit out of you, because like, bro, you making beats, you actually mixing your shit and like writing your and recording your shit, like, bro, that's hard. Yeah. Like you know, whatever people say, like it's hard as hell.
So I got like 2 questions for you. I'm going to ask you at the same time. You can answer whatever one first because they're both kind of loaded.
Yeah.
So if there was a younger viewer watching right now who wanted to be a musician, what would you tell them from what you learned doing this? And with that being said, if you had the opportunity to ask a successful artist of your choice one question, what would you ask them? You know what I mean? So you can answer whichever one you want first, because those are both like pretty big questions.
So for the first one, I would say, who cares? For the younger artists, don't give a shit about what other people think about you. That's my first thing, because here's my thing. Once you start comparing yourself to other people, that's when, and I'm not saying your music's going to go bad or good, but it takes away from who you are as a person and your creativity.
Individuality.
Dude, I've done it before too, bro, but like I'm saying, like in everything in life, you start comparing yourself to other people, you're not going to be yourself, your music's not going to sound as good. Okay, on the second question, if I was to ask, like,
well, did you go through that with when you started making music? Were you at a point where you were really like measuring yourself to other people, I guess you can say, and really taking into consideration other people's opinions?
Yeah, bro. Like, I actually, after I released Seventh Ave, like my just little EP, that was a year ago from like in August. So it's been almost a year. I'm gonna release my next EP in August too. But like when I released that album, I felt like I was a slightly influenced a little bit by like the trap game, like slightly influenced by that melodic style, slightly influenced maybe my like some guys who were on the come up. And I wasn't, and it doesn't mean that I wasn't myself. It's just like the sound I felt like wasn't 100% me. And looking back on the album, there's tracks I skip and there's stuff that I skip I can't even listen to because it bugs me. Right. So it's like, yeah, like I definitely compared myself to other people when I was doing that, it was lowering my self-image.
Right.
So if I don't compare myself to other people and I realize I'm Zach Krause, stuff comes out more fluid, more genuine, more authentic.
Yeah, that's. I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like in some sense, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone to do this like podcast.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like there's gonna be people that criticize it. There's gonna be people that really like it. You know, there's gonna be people that on both sides. You know, and you could say the same for you on music coming up.
Yes, sir.
I feel like I've like got a thick skin over the last couple of years because I've worked in like customer service like 8 years, and I kind of just go with the flow, and that's just how I've always been. So for you making music, you know, it's kind of the same situation. When you were coming up, when you were that young artist that might be listening, and people were bashing your music, would you say you've grown over the years or anything?
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure y'all listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. He says this: you got to go two ways. You got to say fuck. Sorry for my language. You got to say fuck you to the positive, fuck you to the hate, and you got to just go like this. Because the thing is, bro, people will feed your ego, right? And some people will tear your ego down. If you keep yourself balanced and aligned, it doesn't matter. You're always yourself. So no matter what you put out, like say I put out a track, right, and it's just hate, right, and I get one positive, okay, cool, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna change the aspect of that moment that I had, or who I am as a person, because right now I could judge anybody that puts out music.
Right. Yeah.
It's subjective. So we all have to realize that it's a subjective thing and not take it personally.
That's with any art. I feel like with any form of art, it's all subjective. So somebody could be like, somebody could look at a painting and be like, I absolutely hate that, and another person next to you could be like, that's so inspiring.
Yeah, and other people pay $10,000 for the painting, and you're like, what's going on? You're like, the painting's not even that cool, but it's subjective.
I feel like it's important if you are like a young viewer wanting to get into music to have kind of that mentality where it's like this person might hate it, but somebody, you know, 1,500 miles away that might be going through Spotify and find that song and be like, whoa, this guy's amazing. I'm going to show all my friends here in this.
It just takes one, dude.
Yeah, it takes one to take off. Yeah. So second part of that question, if you had something to ask an established artist, you know, anybody really, like J. Cole, anybody, you know, what would you ask that person? And if someone comes to mind, who is that person? If there's multiple, it's okay. But
I would honestly, in the realm of what I would ask is, show me your business model. Like, show me how you came up business-wise. Because I feel like that's the most important thing in music that I was lacking for so long. Because you could put out songs, bro, and you could be amazing, but nobody hears you, right? So look at guys like Jay-Z, right? He is phenomenal in business. Kanye, he's hit and miss, but Kanye's a businessman. He's an entrepreneur. Hey, Kanye, teach me what I have to do to get my music on platforms. Feel me? Like I would ask them that kind of thing. Like I don't want them to be like, hey man, you got to make this certain type of music. Right. See, I don't want that.
Because then you're not, you have no individuality.
Yeah, then I'm not authentic anymore. Yeah. But let me take my authenticity, plug it in a platform, and then show me how to promote my platform.
Right, yeah.
But I want, and another thing I was going to say to the young community is motivate people, man. Don't just put music out there talking about like chains and stuff like that. Like put music out there that has some meaning. I mean, it's not like we don't want to listen to club bangers all the time, but like put something out there that is from your soul and emotion, because I feel like that's what's lacking in music so much right now.
I mean, like, I feel like I listen to a lot of Tupac, and that's a big reason why, because a lot of the newer stuff is all just, like, bangers, which I appreciate sometimes, you know what I mean? I like trap music sometimes, but then there's times when I really want to listen to something, like, genuine. It's like, I almost feel like you go back to a lot of older artists, because nothing against, like, a lot of the newer artists, but there's a few, like, J. Cole's one you can listen to, Kendrick.
They're definitely out there, and it's not saying that they're all, not, it's just, and no hate to younger generations, older generations, but but we are a platform in which people listen to. We are a platform in which motivates the youth, in which the youth listens to. So if we put out trash, if we put out negativity, guess what? They're gonna listen to that negativity. It's gonna cross over in their life.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to spread more. And I'm not saying some of my music isn't like super positive, but I tell you this, like my goal is not to put out music for you to go to clubs and like, you know, drink bottles, pop bottles. It's more so like, hey, let's reflect on our life.
Right.
You feel me?
And it kind of comes around to like we talked about yesterday. It's funny, you know, it's coming like a full circle. It's like the law of attraction we talked about yesterday. Yep. If you put out positivity, it'll come find you back. Absolutely. You know what I mean? If you put out negativity, it's gonna come and find you back.
Optimism's huge, man, and that's something I'm learning right now. It's like because I've been in negative states. We've all been in negative states. But the more you're in a positive state, the more good things are going to happen to you.
Right, yeah.
100%.
We're coming up on 21 minutes, man. Is there anything else you want to say? You got any albums coming up?
Yeah. I just got an EP. I'm mixing mastering myself. I'm just dropping it next month. It's called Out the Sticks. So anybody that, just to kind of go over the album really quick, just to make it really quick for you guys, it's just basically about like the darkness and lightness of your mind. But then the other metaphor for it is like, hey, Out the Sticks is kind of like, hey, let's get out of the woods and let's actually like experience the world. You feel me? And that's kind of the whole subject matter. And that was me. That's kind of like me experiencing the world. We came from a small town.
Right, yeah.
So Out the Sticks is like the epitome of like, yo, I'm in the city now. And this is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm experiencing from the city. So I'm out the sticks. Now I'm in the city. You feel me? So, yeah, there you go. And that's going to be releasing at the end of August.
All right, man. ZK, you guys can find him on Spotify. I mean, just look up Zach Krause. He's the first one that pops up. Appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Right on. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you.